Every time the woman had her period, her husband would deliberately throw cold water in her face to vent his anger. Then, he'd ride his motorcycle into town in search of excitement. But one day, the icy roads were too slippery, and he lost control, tumbling off a cliff. Early the next morning, some villagers discovered the man's body at the bottom of the cliff while herding sheep. They rushed to Annie's house to deliver the tragic news. But when Annie saw her husband's body, she remained surprisingly calm, almost as if she had expected this all along. That night, Annie invited a spiritual master to conduct the funeral. However, when he learned how the man had died, he looked troubled. According to local tradition, falling off a cliff is considered an accidental death, and those who die by accident cannot receive a sky burial. Instead, the body must be wrapped up and brought to a remote spot in the forest, facing the river. So, under the master's prayers, the villagers wrapped the man's body and set off the next morning. They trekked through the mountains for 3 days and nights before finally finding the perfect location to lay him down. But just as they were preparing to leave, the stone propping up the body suddenly gave way. When the villagers looked in the direction the body had fallen, something completely unexpected happened. They saw a man running down the mountain. Was it possible that the dead man had come back to life? The villagers hurried back to tell everyone what they'd seen. Those who were praying were stunned when they heard the news. They asked Jack, "Are you sure you weren't mistaken?" But Jack insisted that everyone who had gone up the mountain saw the same thing, a naked man running. The bizarre nature of the incident quickly caught the attention of the town mayor. When she arrived in the village, she found a crowd gathered around an unknown object. Curious, she walked over and asked what was going on. A villager told her, "The man who died, he came back to life." The mayor froze in disbelief. Had the corpse grown legs and walked back on its own? She told Jack to go take a closer look, but after just a few steps, he turned pale and backed away in fear. Seeing that no one else was willing to approach, the mayor stepped forward herself, only to be stopped by the villagers.